Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I want to talk about 4K Blu-rays and which ones I believe look the best and you should invest your money in if you were buying 4K. I want to start off with Lord of the Rings. Now, this one has DNR. I don't recognize it when I'm watching it. I mean, I can definitely tell Legolas looks a bit flat, but it's Legolas. He's an elf, you know, the whole point of him is to kind of flat. But yeah, this is a really good restoration. It was done by Peter Jackson himself. And when we talk about bad DNRs and bad transfers like Terminator 2 was, for example, it's usually because the director has left it to someone else and hasn't supervised it directly. Occasionally it may be supervised. There's maybe some releases that are supervised and get through. But this one, Peter Jackson actually signed off on this himself. He looked at the transfers, made sure they were all up to scratch, up to his standards. And, I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest trilogies ever made. Like, you're getting a lot in this set, and, I mean, let's take it out of the cover. It's open, it's just a matter of, I leave the plastic on there to try to protect the artwork, because look at that beautiful artwork of, yeah. So yeah, you get a bunch of discs in here if you're after the Australian one. I don't know how the American one is. I know there's also a book version of this, where it's all in a book. But yeah, I quite like this. It fits on a shelf easier. And yeah, you're getting one of the best trilogies of movies ever made. Next up, I'm going to talk about Jaws. One of the greatest suspense thrillers, whatever genre you choose to put it in, it's one of the best movies ever made. I mean, you have a movie that has stood the test of time, one of Spielberg's best, and it's iconic. Like the pool shot where Brody's on the beach and realizing that, oh my god, there's a shark, like there's an attack happening right now, and you just zoom in and it does that pool shot. It's just beautiful cinematography. Like the colors look great on this. The quality is the best you can possibly get. Like, I know we say that with every new format. I know people said that about Blu-ray and DVD when they first were coming out. But this, I don't know how they beat this. Like, I mean, yeah, they could go to 8K, but like, I think this is possibly the top they can get out of it without going to the AI side. Like, this is really good, this transfer. And you're getting one of the best movies of all time. Next up is Interstellar. Interstellar is a Nolan movie, but it was shot for IMAX. So the IMAX scenes are in this. It looks beautiful on a 4K display if you have Dolby HDR. I think this is Dolby Vision. Yeah, I believe so. Let's just double check the disc. I don't want to be telling you it is when it isn't. There are no Dolby logos on it other than Dolby Atmos. So yeah, I don't know if this is actually Dolby Vision, but it's definitely HDR10 and really good transfer, really beautiful movie. If you want to have something without the grain, this is the reference quality Blu-ray that I'll show people and say like, here, watch this scene with Matt Damon trying to dock into the space station. Like, this movie I've seen so many times. I've seen it in IMAX Sydney, the new IMAX that opened up, which it's kind of downhearting that the new Sydney IMAX doesn't project film anymore. I would have preferred to see movies in 1570. But look, we've got an IMAX again in Sydney now. And yes, there are those of us who are like, we had it better before. But, you know what? This looks beautiful on the new Sydney IMAX. It is pristine. The colours are amazing. And even on your 4K TV, this is the top tier of 4K collecting. Next up is probably the movie that I would say looks the absolute best on 4K. And that's 2001: A Space Odyssey. We're talking about a movie that was made in, what, 1968? And it looks like it could have been shot yesterday. It looks that damn good that it looks like it could have been shot in the past 10 years. That is how good this transfer is. The colours pop, the quality is beyond how they got that out of the film. is beyond me. I mean, it was shot on 65 or 70 mil. Was it 65 or 70? I think it was 65. But it was shot on 65 mil film. And, you know, this movie has stood the test of time. It's a legendary movie. And to say that something like 2001: A Space Odyssey is still up in the top tier of a release, I mean, it's a testament to who did the transfer. It's a testament to how it was done by, I mean, it's done justice to Kubrick. I mean, Kubrick's movies always look great. The transfers, whether you get Blu-ray, DVD, they're always going to look good on formats that you have at home. I'm sure it even looks great on digital. Like, there are no bad looking formats for... Yeah, I digress. The good thing with 2001: A Space Odyssey on 4K is that you have that unlocked bitrate. It's as close to unlocked as you can get, because obviously there is still compression on these things. Unless we get Blu-rays that they're talking about now that are 100 terabytes or something, you're probably not going to see uncompressed Blu-ray. But this is probably as close as we're going to get to seeing something that resembles the 65mm print at home. It is a great transfer. I think it does justice and represents the film as it was intended. And it is great to just have a transfer that actually holds up after, 50, 60 odd years. So 2001: A Space Odyssey, definitely, that is one, if you're looking at reference quality. That's one you show your friends, that's one you show your family, that's one you show off a new 4K TV with. It is beautiful, and this one does have Dolby Vision, so it does have Dolby Vision on it, which is probably why it looks so good. And then, to finish off on, I have to include it. And I know it's a little inside joke because the people who know me know it's my favourite movie of all time, and that's Titanic. Now, Cameron has had a hit and miss with 4K, because Avatar looks spectacular in 4K. Terminator 2, on the other hand, looks terrible. Like, what he has done to it looks terrible. This is one of the better releases. This one in particular, I would say, looks better than what they were projecting for the anniversary, the 25th anniversary. This actually looks better than what was coming off the film, or what they were projecting. And as you hear the plane go over my head, obviously planes didn't exist in 1912 when the Titanic sank. Hey, we live near an airport. Planes going over is kind of part of the job. But Titanic is, and holds up to be, one of the greatest movies ever made. And I know I say that about a lot of those movies, but this one was the highest grossing movie of all time until Avatar came along, and that was another Cameron movie that replaced it. There is a reason for that, because I don't think anything ever sold more tickets than Titanic. And the back cover also looks amazing. If you take it out, you also have, I don't know if I've used the digital code, I'll just put that around because we don't want to give that away just yet. I'll probably give it away at a later date. But you have two discs in there. You have the 4K and the standard Blu-ray with special features. And it is really great to have, let's just put that back in. We'll put that back in so it doesn't go missing, because I'm terrible at keeping track of these things. And yeah, Titanic. I am terrible with getting these things back in the slipcovers, ain't I? But yes, Titanic, really great 4K transfer. My favourite movie of all time. And this is the reference quality Blu-ray I go to show people now what 4K is capable of, what colours should look like in, is it Dolby Vision? It is Dolby Vision, yeah. So what colours should look like in Dolby Vision, and to show that when Cameron actually cares about a release, he is probably the best in terms of making his movies look great. It's only when he phones it in with, which is what happened with Terminator 2, that you get instances of DNR to death, removing the California sunset for blue tinge or whatever he did with that. And yeah, I think Titanic, he's kind of redeemed himself. I want to see what happens with True Lies and The Abyss. I want to see how they look on 4K before I really start praising him. But the fact that Titanic is on 4K at all, with Disney withdrawing, I mean, it's Paramount. I mean, Paramount did the release internationally and also everywhere. But Fox also have money in this movie. The fact that it got released at all is amazing. Like, I mean, companies are going to keep Cameron happy. I mean, he's one of the highest grossing directors ever. Like, he's got, what, 3 of the 5 highest grossing movies? So, they're gonna keep him happy. But the fact that we got Titanic at all was amazing. And, yeah, that's my top 5. So, just to recount, Titanic on 4K, amazing. Looks like it was shot yesterday. Definitely reference quality. 2001: A Space Odyssey, looks like it was shot yesterday. It is a reference quality. This is one that you put in your projector or in your to show off a 4K TV, to show off your Dolby Vision. This is a reference quality as well. Definitely top tier. Interstellar, really good movie. Obviously, yeah, I think was Timothy Chalamet in it? I believe he was. I think he was the kid in it at one point. I think he was in this movie one of his first movies. But this is reference quality as well. IMAX scenes are always going to look good on 4K on physical formats. Jaws, obviously, classic. If you need me to tell you about Jaws, just go and see Jaws. Like, there is no reason why I should have to sell this movie so hard. I mean, it's stood the test of time. This is one of the definitive movies from the catalogue of... Who made it? Universal. Oh, it's a Universal movie. There you go. But it's one of the definitive movies ever made. Like, the thing that people wouldn't go in the water when Jaws first came out because they were scared of sharks attacking them. That's amazing. Like, it's a cultural event. And then obviously Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings definitely always looks great on physical. This is no exception. And also, yeah, because Peter Jackson supervised it. It did have DNR, but it was done in the right spots. It was done perfectly. And I think Peter Jackson deserves to be commended for that. Like, he cared. I haven't seen The Hobbit transfer, which it is sitting on my shelf. I have not got around to it. I mean, when I want to watch Middle-earth, I typically will just go for Lord of the Rings, you know? Or Game of Thrones. I mean, if I want to watch a Game of Thrones as well, that's also the other go-to. But, yeah, these are really good in terms of pickups and to show off a new 4K TV. And, you know, there are other stuff in my collection here that will look just as good on 4K. Like, for example, let me show you this one over here. Give me 2 seconds, people. If we go to this one right here. If we go to Zack Snyder's Justice League, this one is amazing on 4K. And Batman vs Superman as well also looks amazing on 4K. But this one, I'll count this as an honourable mention. This one maintains all the original IMAX scenes and has that 4:3 aspect ratio that is typically, I think it was called the Hollywood ratio or something. This movie looks fantastic on 4K. But, you know, I chose not to include it in this because, obviously, I want something that's a bit more universal. These are the titles I would say you should pick up to show off a TV. Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour version, whatever you want to call it, that version, that is really good looking as well on TV as well. That will showcase your TV and will, for lack of a better term, knock the poop out of your TV. Like, it'll show it how it's meant to read information, everything. If you've done color grading or anything in the past, it'll show you how it's left the booth. Like, Zack Snyder has done a really good job with that. And obviously the fact that it even exists is a feat, one of the biggest fan feats ever. Like, it's something that didn't even exist, really, in completed form until the fan community jumped on Warner Brothers about getting it made. And so yeah, that's another mention. But if you like what I've said or disagree, jump in the comments, leave a like. Don't like it, doesn't matter. As long as you're here and we're talking about movies, that's what matters. And if you like my suggestions, then maybe consider dropping me a like. Or jump in the comments and tell me why I made different calls or what you would have picked differently. I would love to hear and start a conversation. Thanks, guys, and till next time, peace out.